Welcome to the Narrowing Path, walking the spiritual walk. My name is Steve Van Einstein. Thank you all for joining me again tonight as we go through and do today's daily reading from James Allen's Daily Meditations. This, of course, will be fresh to you and fresh to me, meaning that you'll get my genuine responses, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading, as this will be the first time that I hear it or read it right here on this podcast with y'all. So, looking forward to it. Yesterday's, that was so good. Just we talked just the understanding of what contentment is, the understanding of what we need to be content with and what we should not be content with, and most of us living a life that serves ourselves have them backwards. And I liked that yesterday, just to not be content with our opinions, our character, our spiritual condition. So we're on constantly learning, growing, becoming more aware of the world. So let's go ahead. We'll get into December 3rd. So here we go, December 3rd of James Allen's Daily Meditations. Universal brotherhood is the supreme ideal of humanity, and toward that ideal, the world is slowly but surely moving. Brotherhood as a human organization cannot exist so long as any degree of self-seeking reigns in the hearts of men and women who band themselves together for any purpose. As such, self-seeking must eventually rend the seamless coat of loving unity. But although organized brotherhood has so largely failed, any man may excuse me. But although organized brotherhood has so largely failed, any man may realize brotherhood in its perfection and know it in all its beauty and beauty and completion. Excuse me. If he will make himself a wise, pure, loving spirit, removing from his mind every element of strife and learning to practice those divine qualities without which brotherhood is but a mere theory, opinion, or elusive dream. In whatsoever in whatsoever heart discord rules, brotherhood is not realized. Forgive me for having a hard time reading that today. I apologize. But this is again from, I remember this one very vividly, actually, from the book Above Life's Turmoils. There's a whole section, I believe, that is on brotherhood. And that book is more, Above Life's Turmoils is more of a compilation of essays, similar to any of the books by Emmett Fox. Really, they're separate essays and dissertations. They all get wrapped up thrown into one book. And there's a lot of fantastic stuff. A lot of the stuff we've been reading recently actually comes from that. But I remember this one specifically. And I really do like this. And I think we'll probably get into it a little bit more, just knowing how these have played out. Probably tomorrow's will be on it as well. But I really enjoy this concept that we're talking about here of unity and brotherhood and love. And it's quite important at the end of the day to understand why it doesn't work. Or let me rephrase that, because brotherhood in true form is the ideal, is what we're all aiming for. But brotherhood will fail if not convened for the right intentions. If people aren't functioning from the right places, it will not work. As sad as that is. So let's go ahead. Let's get through this. Universal brotherhood is the supreme ideal of humanity. And toward that ideal, the world is slowly but surely moving. I believe that's to be true, right? That's what people mean when they're referring to world peace. We're talking about universal brotherhood, where everyone chooses, that's the important part here, chooses to love others unconditionally, regardless of differentiating factors. To love each other in a spiritual level rather than approve of each other in a physical appearance, right? It's a wholly different thing. And it is the intention of so many in this world for that to happen. That is what most want to move towards. I've talked about it on this podcast beforehand, though. Sometimes, most times, actually all the time, true peace cannot be attained through violence. True peace has to be chosen by all sides. So, brotherhood as a human organization cannot exist so long as any degree of self seeking reigns in the hearts of men and women who band themselves together for any purpose. As such, self seeking must eventually rend the seamless coat of loving unity. So that's the problem. This is where we fall down. People, including myself, are self serving in nature. They're selfish. They do things to get something out of it for themselves. They join with a ulterior motive, hidden agenda, some goal or purpose for their own validation or their own ego. Now, it can be shrouded in good intentions. It can be the ego is very tricky and can be deceptive in many ways, right? But if there's any hint of serving yourself by taking any action, true brotherhood cannot even exist. If you're seeking to serve yourself only, it will never work. And we must eventually rend the seamless coat of loving unity. I like how he says seamless coat of loving unity. Like, there is no division in it, there's no mending of it. It's a single piece, it's a single garment. It is all one. We are all one in loving unity. So important. I really like the way he presented that, honestly, with the seamless coat of loving purity. In my mind, it's white as well, but to each their own. But although organized brotherhood has so largely failed, any man may realize brotherhood in its perfection and know it in all its beauty and completion. Okay, so, I mean, this is pretty obvious with the state of today. This is pretty obvious just in general that because it isn't here yet, so it's obviously failed so far. So he's conceding to the fact that organized brotherhood has largely failed. I mean, it's we people have tried, people have claimed it, but so far as 1909 or whenever this one was written, it's failed. It has not been a successful endeavor. But it doesn't mean it's not achievable, and it doesn't mean every single person that chooses to should, can't practice brotherhood today. It is completely within your grasp, with your capabilities to practice perfect brotherhood with all of your relationships in a one-to-one basis. You don't have to wait for this large, grandiose occurrence to happen to bring this forward. Honestly, it should happen and be practiced with those closest to you in your own communities first. Your own well, and even in your own household, right? Let's start there. Your own house, then your own neighbors, then your communities, and then your towns, right? This is a concept that will be built by individuals choosing to practice it. And it's an individual that can start to realize it as soon as they choose to. No need to wait. And this is how, if he will make himself a wise, pure, loving spirit, removing from his mind every element of strife and learning to practice those divine qualities without which brotherhood is but a mere theory, opinion, or elusive dream. So we have to become wise, pure, loving spirit, removing from our minds every element of strife, so self serving thought, learning to practice those divine qualities without which the brotherhood is merely a theory. We have to practice these virtues that we talk about all the time, these principles, these disciplines. It comes through that practice and that purification of your own soul and behaviors. It's so important to realize this. You have to remove self to practice true brotherhood. And it's a beautiful thing when you can actually do it. It's a genuine connection of love between two human beings, two individuals that you can't replace. It's something that I've found in recovery a lot with other people. People practice brotherhood with me when I couldn't truly practice it back, right? That's the beauty of this thing. That's what we mean when we're talking about you can start this today, regardless of who's returning the practice or not, or where you are. You can pursue this true sense of brotherhood with your fellow man. If you would only just try. And now, this last line, the fall down of so many attempts, is in whatsoever heart discord rules, brotherhood is not realized. So, those selfish intentions, that misalignment, that lack of integrity, brotherhood will always fail because it's not true. It's not based in spiritual truth. It's a self serving act at that point, and usually you can actually classify that as manipulation, and it's never a fun thing to look at. So, well, all right, that brings us to the end of December 3rd. Only 28 days left after this, and I'm very excited to see where we go, and I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, it's been a pretty amazing year and something I'm truly grateful for. So thank y'all for joining me and riding along with me through this journey. And I'll be back again tomorrow. Until next time. Thanks.